In this session, we're going to take you through how to share folders as data sources between Bizeo subscriptions. This is perfect if you are either, for example, in a franchise scenario where you want to share data between franchises and franchisees, for example, or you might be operating a consultancy or working with a consultant and want to share data from the client's Bizeo system to the consultant, or a variety of other business scenarios. So there are two ways of sharing data in Bizeo between client accounts directly. One is to share individual KPIs, but in this case I'm going to take you through how to share entire folders. So here we have a corporate account. This will only work with corporate and enterprise accounts, although you can consume a data source from somebody else if you have a basic or professional, but you can only create shared data sources if you are a corporate or enterprise. So here I have a sales statistics folder with a whole series of folders underneath it, and each of those has a dozen or so KPIs underneath that. I'm going to employ a sales advisor, and so I want to share the sales stats from my sales team to that advisor, and that advisor also has their own Bizeo account. So what I do is I go down to shared data sources and I add a new shared data source and give it a name. And as I said before, there are two ways to share data sources. One is to share individual tasks, and that is covered in another video, but in this case I want to share an entire folder. And then I select the folder I want to share. So in this case, my sales stats, and I say add a shared data source. So once I've got that, I've now got my folder shared TPC sales data. And I want to specify who I'm going to share the data to. Now, in order to do this, you're going to need two pieces of information from the person you want to share with. And they get that information by looking at my account. So the information you want is the contact code and the email address associated with their account. So get your sales consultant or whoever you're sharing the data with to give you those two pieces of information, and then you can proceed to the next step. So I've got my consultant's details, and I go into shared data sources, select the data source and select share with another. And here is where I've got to insert both their contact code and their email address. And then we can send them a personal little message. When I click share, an email will be sent to this person asking them if they want to accept that data source. Within a few minutes, the recipient will receive an email notification from Bizeo telling them that somebody would like to share a data source with them, and then giving them the details about the data source. So to accept the data source, they click on this link here. They'll be taken into their Bizeo and asked whether they wish to accept the data source, and they can specify where they want to store the data source. So which folder is it going to go into? So I've got a folder down here that I want to store it into, and I press on accept. And when I go into Bizeo, into the folder I specified, I now have a copy of all of the stats from the other accounts Bizeo that was shared with me. So as they update their data, I see that data come directly through to my account. If you want to share the data source with another client, you can go back into the shared data sources, select the data source, and share it with another person and continue that process. So that's an introduction to shared folders as data sources. I also recommend that you look at the shared KPI data sources. These offer a way to share individual KPIs or groups of KPIs with a third party as well. Thank you.